Oh there, grumpy old fart here. I've done a series of videos on different character classes for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I did a video on modules. I did a video on beginning game masters, things like that. And I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons a long time, and I figured it's nice to share wisdom with people because it's things that I have learned through experience and maybe save new dungeon masters some trouble. And I don't claim to know everything there is to know about everything because I don't. All right. But these are some common sense things that new game masters of whatever game need to be aware of. Because this doesn't only apply to Dungeons and Dragons, it applies to a bunch of virtually any tabletop role playing game. The one I'm going to talk about today is play balance. Play balance is extremely important. Before you run a game, you want to talk to your players and find out what kind of game they're expecting. If they're expecting a hack and slash combat oriented game where they just go kill things and take their shit, load up on gold and take it back and sell, buy better stuff so they can go kill more powerful monsters and take their stuff and go sell it to go, blah, 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 rinse and repeat. That's called power play. Hack and slash kind of things, glorified murder hobos. And that's fine. If that's what they want to play, that's fine. You can do that easy. That's not a problem. But if you have a bunch of players who want to role play, it takes a little bit more thought. You got to put some more effort into it because you have to come up with believable backstories for the non-player characters. You have to put a little more effort and thought into the background of the world. You have to create the world. Your average peasant may not be a cookie cutter cardboard cutout, as it were. He may have valuable information. He may be the long lost son of a disgraced noble. He may be an exiled knight who is taken to farming. You don't know. You have to work all that into the game. You see what I'm saying? You have to make a world that will interest your players who are bent on role playing. And both are fun. I'm not saying there's nothing bad about either one of them, but you have to figure out what your players want. Now, either one of those is great. The problem of play balance comes into it when you have 4 players and 2 of them want to role play and 2 of them want to hack and slash. I've seen it work, but it's rare. You have to balance power play versus role play. You have to balance violence versus reason, good guys versus bad guys, player character balance. All the players have to be essentially the same power level. But if you have some players who have designed their characters to be reasoning, thinking, problem solvers, and other players who have designed their characters to be killing machines, you're going to have problems with the monsters that you throw at them. Because anything that's going to give the hack and slash players an actual run for their money is going to murder the role players and step over their carcasses. Or maybe eat them, I don't know, depending on the monster. You have to balance all that out. Your good guys have to be equal to the task of the bad guys. Now you can use your bad guys and maybe overpower the bad guys just a little bit, because there has to be a challenge. But as far as play balance goes, this actually happened to me. I had a group that I was running, and 4 of them wanted to role play, and 2 of them were mindless killing machines. And I don't use that term lightly. They were mindless killing machines. Ugh, kill was their thing. What is it? I don't know. Kill it. Step on its head. That kind of thing. So, I first off, I was running a game I was unfamiliar with. It was not Dungeons and Dragons. It was another game. One of my players brought it to me and begged me to run it, and I said, "Okay, great. We got a group. We'll figure a way to." And I'm reading up on the rules and stuff, and I'm not going to go into the game. But my point is, we had 4 players that wanted to play role play in this fantastic world that the game provided. and it was a great game. But we had two other characters who just literally were mindless killing machines. And anything I put up against the group that these four could reason with, the two players killed. Anything I could put up against the group that these two could, could have problems with and actually had a challenge defeating, these four guys ran and hid because they had no chance whatsoever. Play balance. Your players will have to all be roughly the same level. Now, you're never going to get them exactly equal, but at least have them on the same footing. You know what I'm saying? Roughly equivalent. Player character balance is one of the most important aspects of the game. All of the players need to be able to function on two basic levels: combat and reason. If a player has a character that's just built for combat and he knows it, and he stands in the background and lets everybody else do the reasoning, and when combat happens, he jumps out there and takes care of it, that's fine. But when you have characters that they're reasoning characters and they want to talk to everything, and the combat oriented characters want to go out and kill everything, it's kind of hard to talk to something while two of the players in the group are trying to kill it. There's got to be some party cohesion. Okay, party balance, play balance is very, very important. The reasoning characters are very important in the group. You have to have at least one person who can reason. You have to have at least one person who can do combat. But it's nice to have a mix of both. And it's nice if everybody can do a little bit of everything. The reasoning aspect of it helps to solve problems. If you have a character with a very low intelligence, he's not solving a hell of a lot of problems. If you have a character with a high intelligence, he can solve problems, but if he's got a low strength and a low dex and like that, his combat ability is going to suffer. Play balance is important, and it's also sometimes difficult to achieve. If you have a player in your group who has a character that they really, really want to run, but it just doesn't fit, sometimes you have to say, this is a great character, I agree, and I'm going to make a separate game so that you can play it in there, and we'll have everybody else make up new characters. You can run a separate game for that. That's fine. But if it doesn't fit the campaign that you're running, it doesn't fit. Sometimes you have to put your foot down. And I am loath to turn anyone away from a game, but sometimes you have to have them make up a different character. It's that simple. Sometimes when you have a group of players that work well together, it's better to change your campaign to better fit those players. Remember, the whole point of the game is for everybody to have fun, and that includes the game master. If you get excited about just killing player characters, there's a term for that. You're called a killer dungeon master. Yeah, you just try to kill off characters. You create virtually impossible scenarios. I know of one person who was in a killer dungeon run by a killer dungeon master who actually survived that campaign, and it wasn't me. I died. My friend Gerald. Gerald is the consummate... he reasons things out, but he's also good at hack and slash. He's a good tactician. He knows how to get the most out of a character, even if he has bad die rolls. If he rolls a crappy character, he can still make that character work because he has tactics. I found that the only problem he has is if he has bad die rolls on stats. For example, say his intelligence is a 9 on a character from 3 to 18, and his character rolls a 9. If you roll a 9 for his character's intelligence, make him roll the intelligence. That's pretty much the only way to beat him because he's got a good head for tactics and strategy, and he knows how to find loopholes in spells descriptions and things like that. He can work around almost any impediment. So he's the only person I know of who actually survived a killer dungeon. And I try not to run killer dungeons because to me it's not fun. The whole point of a dungeon master is to make your players an adventure that they can have fun in. Who likes making up characters over and over and over? It's just, I like making up a character, but once I make it, I want to play it. And once I play it, I want to continue playing it. I want to build that character up. If he dies, that's cool. I can make another one. But if all you're doing is making up characters so they can die, it takes the it's stupid. It gets stupid after a while. And I have left games for that. I was playing in a guy's game years ago, and the third time I sat down to play, the third week in a row, I had a brand new character, and within 10 minutes, that character died because of impossible odds that I could not find a way out of. And it wasn't, well, you're in a dungeon and there's a monster you have to defeat. I can sit back and try to think of a way to defeat the monster. That's not a problem. What happened was we were in a town. My character was asleep in his room in the hotel, and he died in his sleep because somebody came in with a mace and bashed his skull in, and he didn't wake up. I didn't get a roll to hear. My character had a skill called alertness, and I was asleep, and apparently sleeping so deep, my alertness did not kick in, and a thug came in and bashed my skull in and stole all my shit. I hadn't even a chance to do anything with the character. At that point, it's time to go. Play balance is very important, not only for the players, but for the game master. You have to have scenarios, and if you're going to take them into a combat situation, for example, they have to have a chance to win. It's not, you can't just throw them against overwhelming odds constantly. Now, if it's seemingly overwhelming odds, but there is a way to beat it, then that's fine. If they have a reasonable chance to find that way. If there's 5 players and they have an army of 20,000 guys out there, I don't care how badass they are. You give me 20,000 rolls, somebody's going to roll a crit. A crit is a crit no matter who rolls it. That kind of thing. They're all going to die. If they try to fight 5,000 guys head up, and there's 5 of them, 1,000 to 1 odds, yeah, they're going to die. I try not to run black dragons all the time because those can, especially in underground settings, check out my video on that. There's a lot to be said for play balance. We'll leave it at that. My point is, the objective of the game master is to create a game that's fun for the players. If they're having fun, you've done your job. If they're not having fun, then you need to, either they're not into the game the way you are, they're expecting a different kind of a game, or maybe your game is just not right for them. There's a lot of subtleties that go into that, and it takes time to figure those out. But play balance. That's all there is. If you have one player who is a level 3 and 8 players who are level 9, the level 3 is going to do a lot of hiding and running. That's all I gotta say. So, play balance. But again, if you're a budding dungeon master and you want to start running games, that's absolutely wonderful. You have help. Don't think you're just thrown to the wolves. The books can seem overwhelming, but they're not. Once you learn to play, it's actually pretty simple. Coming up with the scenarios can be a task, but once you do and you've got it worked out and balanced out and everything, it's so much fun. Okay. And there's lots of videos and there's lots of groups on Facebook. There's one specifically for Dungeon Masters. If you ask questions, I promise you, you're going to get a good answer. You're going to get multiple answers for you to choose from, because there's not just one style of gaming. If people don't like my gaming style, they can find another Dungeon Master, or they can run a game and I'll play in theirs. Either way, my point is, you're not alone. If you're going to run a game of Dungeons and Dragons, that's absolutely wonderful, because the game needs more good Dungeon Masters. But just remember, play balance, and if you have a question, ask. Somebody will answer. Hope everybody finds this enjoyable and informative. And if you have questions, put them in the comments. I'm glad to answer questions. I don't have a problem with that at all. I hope everybody has fun with these tabletop role-playing games that I'm suggesting, and I hope everybody finds a group that they can play with, if not their family. I like family time, you know. So again, if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll see what I can do about answering them. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.